up, YouTube? Topaz Jace back for another daily review, and this one is to that Snoop Dogg Promise You This. And I'm giving this one the yellow light, man, because quite honestly, it's a solid West Coast slapper, as they would call it out there in the West and such, dude. But quite honestly, in the grand scheme of things, I feel as though Snoop Dogg just doesn't have the skills necessary to compete in this day and age of quality West Coast music. And I absolutely love what he's talking about on this, man, where he's ultimately checking the people that come up on him begging for something, like they expect something from him, instead of them going out to get their own. Like, he breaks it down like, when I was down on the bottom, I was out there hustling. I was out there trying to get my own money, trying to do my own thing. I wasn't begging anybody else for anything. Unlike what most people will do these days, man, they begging other people to get their own come up, and that's not a good look. To keep it 100 with you, man, as a man, you want to be able to come up on your own and provide on your own accord, or else you really can't be labeled as a man. As Snoop Dogg continued, he started talking about the things that he did do for the hood, on how he provided the bills and everything for a bunch of individuals that he really didn't have to in order for their family to eat. And you know, a bunch of people tend to do this, like MC Hammer, who ultimately still gets clowned to this day for losing all of the money that he made, but ultimately he helped out so many families and such, man. It's ridiculous out there in the Bay Area. What is the incentive for anybody with any funds to come back and help and give anything to anybody else, you dig? If you ultimately lose it all for trying to help individuals, that people will clown you forever for doing it. And the main thing that Snoop Dogg is touching on here, he's never going to promise anybody anything. All he can do to promise you is, I'm not going to do much for you. You got to go out there and get it on your own. And that's just some real talk. And that's honestly the whole direction that I've taken with this channel, because a lot of people consistently try to tell me the things that I need to review and all that. And you know, I'm open to hearing any suggestions and any ideas and stuff like that, man. But in the end, I got the final say so, and I'm not making any promises to anybody, so I won't have to break any promises, you did? Like, the only thing I'll tell you is I'ma peep it out, but no promises on whether I'll do a review or not. That's ultimately the same thing that Snoop Dogg is saying here. It's ultimately a lot of real talk on a heavy West Coast production that's overall rather solid, that I just feel as though could have been much better if he had more lyricism, actually. If it wasn't just spitting real talk like actual punchlines to go along with that real talk. But definitely an enjoyable track I recommend people to go ahead and peep out. But a quick recap here, man. The positives that I'm taking from this is the fact that it's straight up real talk that people need to know. Like, if you ain't out here getting it on your own, nobody's going to give it to you. Ultimately, the person that's going to put you on is the person looking at you in the mirror. Nobody else owes you anything. Now, people may come to you to try to help you out because you got a little something and that's going to cost you, but in the end, that's just the business. But the negatives are, man, I feel as though it's just not that quality of a track here, man. I feel as though Snoop Dogg just is lacking in the lyrical prowess to be able to pull this one off as well as it needs to be pulled off. But this concludes today's review, man, and now we're going to jump into a brief instrumental from underground producer Lord Lorenz before we jump into some of your questions. So, says that you can't compare Lil Uzi Vert to guys like Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole or like that, man, because lyrically he's never going to be on that level. You got to more look at him more in the direction of Future and all of that. And my thing is, on that review that I did for his current project, I really wasn't comparing him to anybody. See, all I want as a fan of music is your core fundamentals to be straight and for you to create quality music. And that's ultimately the whole way that I went about that Lil Uzi Vert project, dude. I mean, you definitely shouldn't compare Lil Uzi Vert to those acts, man, because you're not going to get that same formula of music from him. So I'm in agreement with you, but I never brought that up. And Dojo Muppet says about that Kanye track that I reviewed the other day, man, that it's nothing more than background music and all that, man. So you really can't get that deep into it. And my thing is, it could have been more than background music. Because of the flawed execution, it honestly misses out on what it actually could have been. Because with him trying to take classical music and apply it to a hip-hop standpoint, that's something that could have been dope. And that's an overall idea that I feel as though somebody can take and actually make into something. But yet the way that Kanye went about it, it just wasn't that quality. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there. And you can go to downloadpaz.com, that's down there, to read today's article.